When we talk about success, most people immediately jump to strategies, routines, or the latest hacks they read in a book or saw on a podcast. But the truth is, none of that matters if you dan. First, confront the invisible forces quietly shaping your life every single day, your patterns. And here's the most sobering fact. The majority of the patterns that guide your decisions, your habits, even the way you react to stress or opportunity, were not consciously chosen by you. They were formed unconsciously through repetition, through cultural conditioning, through convenience, and sometimes through avoidance. Day 1 of this 21-day challenge is not about changing your brain overnight. It's about finally becoming aware of what's actually running the show. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you said to yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," or "This is the last time," only to find yourself repeating the same cycle a week later? That isn't a lack of willpower. It's the evidence of an old pattern that has built grooves in your brain like a river carving into stone. The more often you repeat the behavior, scrolling through your phone late at night, procrastinating on an important project, or numbing discomfort with distractions, the deeper the groove gets. And because your brain is designed to conserve energy, it always prefers the groove it already knows. Awareness is the act of standing at the edge of that groove and saying, "I see it. I know it's there, and I refuse to keep slipping into it unconsciously." The challenge is, most people never stop to look. We live on autopilot. Neuroscience estimates that up to 95% of our daily thoughts and behaviors are repetitive. That means most of what you do today is almost identical to what you did yesterday and the day before that. If your results are not where you want them to be, then repeating yesterday again today is the surest way to guarantee nothing changes tomorrow. So, day 1 is really about a confrontation with the self. Not the glamorous self, not the one you post on social media, but the raw self, the one who knows exactly which habits are pulling you away from your vision. And awareness doesn't come from judgment. I want to emphasize that. Too many people, when they notice their destructive patterns, fall into guilt and shame. That only reinforces the cycle, because shame itself becomes another groove in the brain, another excuse to stay stuck. Awareness must come from observation, not condemnation. It's like finally turning on the lights in a dark room. You don't yell at the furniture for being there, you simply notice where it is, so you can navigate more effectively. That's the power of awareness. It gives you choice, where before you only had compulsion. Let me give you a practical way to approach this. On day 1, write down the 3 patterns that you know are keeping you stuck. Not vague statements, like "I procrastinate too much," but specific triggers and behaviors. For example, when I feel overwhelmed, I escape into YouTube for 2 hours. Or, every night, I promise myself I'll sleep early, but I end up scrolling until 1 a.m. These small admissions may seem trivial, but they are the foundation of transformation. Because once the unconscious becomes conscious, you can begin to work with it. Until then, it's like wrestling with a shadow. You can never win. Philosophers have spoken about this for centuries. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." In modern terms, the unexamined mind is a prison. You might decorate the prison with achievements, possessions, or distractions. But if the same patterns are pulling the strings, you will always return to the same emotional baseline of frustration and dissatisfaction. The 21-day challenge is your opportunity to not only examine, but to interrupt. And interaction starts with the bravery to look without flinching. I want you to imagine this. Every destructive pattern in your life is like software running silently in the background of your mind. You didn't choose. Most of that code was downloaded from family, society, experiences, or simply from repetition. Awareness is the moment you finally open the code and start reading it. You don't have to rewrite all of it today. But if you don't even know what's written there, then every new start will just be the same program repeating itself with a different interface. Day 1 is about reading the code. Day 1 is about saying, "I see the loop. I see the trigger. I see the cost." That single act of seeing clearly is already a disruption. And that's the invitation I leave you with. Don't rush to fix everything in one day. That's the ego trying to turn transformation into another quick fix. Instead, take today as a mirror. Notice, observe, Write it down. Let the awareness itself be your first victory. Because once you see the pattern, you are no longer fully trapped by it. And when you are no longer trapped, the possibility of freedom begins. The first step toward reprogramming your brain is not doing more. It has finally seen what you've been unconsciously doing all along. Awareness is the birthplace of change. Without it, nothing shifts. With it, everything becomes possible.